So I just discovered Mosab Hassan Yousef in the last month, and the reason was because of this Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So he started to surface up in my YouTube, and I made a video about his story because it was for me fascinating on my Arabic channel. Unfortunately, I had many people unsubscribing from the channel because of the video, because I just told his story the way he wrote it in the book and in the movie. And many comments were not so friendly. So I wanted to explain in this video why I admire Mosab Hassan Yousef and how can you see him through 3 levels of consciousness. I'm Theresa Khalil. I'm a writer, a documentary filmmaker from Egypt, living in Europe for about 10 years now. And I believe that I think outside the box. So that's why the channel is called Unique, because I have unique stories, unique documentaries, and unique view. Okay, if you don't know who is Mosab Hassan Yousef, he is the son of Sheikh Hassan Yousef. He is one of the founders of Hamas. And he was raised in this Ramallah area, where his father was, of course, so concerned with the Palestinian cause, and his main concern was to defeat Israel or swipe Israel away and get back the land. As he was sharing in many interviews, is that he opened his eyes seeing his father being arrested by the Israeli soldiers, and he said it wasn't fun. They don't just come in saying, "Good evening, can we arrest your father?" No, they come in a violent way with guns, and of course it was so scary for him. He loved his father. The absence of his father affected his family for sure. His mother was majority of the time a single mother. Then at the age of 18, he decided, after becoming the right hand of his father, to get back the land and to defeat the Israelis, he decided to cooperate with Israel. And if you look at this story from the first level of consciousness, then you would think, okay, this guy is evil. He betrayed his father. He betrayed the cause, the land. You know, he's a bad person. Now let's go to the second level of consciousness. And on the second level, that's when you start asking questions. And the question is, why would such a young guy, 18 years old, who loves his father and of course his family and the area where he was brought up, why would he cooperate with the enemy? And of course on the Arabic channels they usually say it's because he was raped as a child, or it's because some traumatizing event happened to him, but it's not an excuse. But the reality actually is not like that. From the second level of consciousness, why would this guy cooperate with what's supposed to be the enemy? Is because he started questioning. And the question he had was, is it right what my father is doing? Okay, my father has this cause and he wants to defeat Israel, get back the land, but how is he doing it? He is using suicidal bombing. So he get a Palestinian young boy probably, wrap him in bombs, and then they send him to a bus stop or a cafeteria in a college or a market, and boom, he explode himself. And that's how he's supposed to solve the cause. So he questioned, is this the right way to do things? And he found that no, it is not. And then he started cooperating with the Israelis, not to kill his father, not to betray his nation, but just to stop the suicidal bombing. So that was the second level of consciousness. You could also see how that this boy from 18 to 28 years old, he was not allowed to fall in love or to have any love stories. He was not also able to get married, although his mother was trying to find him a bride. So his life was not the best. He was suppressed. He couldn't share what was going on with anyone, not even his closest friends. And I can imagine how is this so difficult, because you usually, or all of us as humans, we need to express ourselves. We need to share our thoughts. And that's why I do active listening. So if you have something on your mind and you can't share it with the people around you, it is very healthy to get it out. So I will leave a link down below for active listening if you want to learn more. But imagine he couldn't even have active listening because he works for Israel. And he has to be careful about 10 years of stress and like all this long time that he can't be himself. So this is the second level of consciousness. This is what I see when I look at him and his story. Let me tell you also that, of course, I have in my book, Came and Gone, a quote where I say, I don't respect the spy, no matter which side he's working for. So if he's working for me or for others, I don't think that spying is something to be respected, to be honest. So I guess he also realized this, and this takes me to the third level of consciousness. So after he was working with the Israelis for 10 years, he started realizing, then what? For how long I'm going to do that? If I stop one suicidal bomber, I will have a second. If I stop the second, I will have a third. And this is not a solution as well. So he quit his spying job, and Israel was not happy about that. Then he moved to America, he applied for asylum, his asylum get rejected. And he described this moment as it's the moment that he feared for his life the most, that he almost died. His heart stopped, he got like a heart attack, and that's when he faced death for the first time. And I say this is the third level of consciousness, looking at his story, because I see someone who killed his ego, okay? He had this familiar life, okay? He worked for the Israeli Shin Bet, he's with his parents, with his brothers and sisters in the familiar environment. And then he decided to change all that and kill his ego, because your ego is always attached to whatever being you are in. So for example, your name, your location, your job, the people around you that you are attached to. So to kill all those familiarities and realize that you are none of that, that's not easy. And he did this, and he left everything behind and he moved to America, which also was like, as I said, it was a period of stress in his life. But he was also on a journey to understand life, because he had a lot of questions. What is the point of this life? What is the meaning? What will happen to me after I die? And as I said, when he faced death already, he realized that this is not that scary. Well, that is his experience. I'm still on a journey to understand life, and you can follow it on this channel from my podcast, The Scrapbook of Life. The podcast started with a documentary film, and I will leave it up if you want to watch it after this video. It's 30 minutes where I meet people who changed their beliefs, and the first one I met was in the documentary Wang Zangyang. And so he killed his old ego. Now he writes his book, Son of Hamas. It's become a bestseller. Then he makes the Green Prince, a documentary, and he starts traveling with the film, having interviews, being famous, known, rich. And then he realized, okay, do I want to get attached with this also, with all this what's going on? And the answer was no. And he killed his ego for the second time. He leave all this behind. He go to an unknown Asian country, and he immerses himself into Ashtanga yoga. And he's just living a simple life, you know, living in the moment, doing free diving, eating one meal a day, and just like trying to detach from all the familiarities and whatever the ego could be attached to. And this is how I see him, or you could see him from the third level of consciousness, someone who killed his ego not once but twice. And I know that this is so difficult, because I remember I was an engineer. I studied engineering for 5 years. Then I started thinking, okay, I don't like it. Do I have to continue? And it was difficult for me to say no. So I continued. I continued working for 5 more years. So 10 years I spent in engineering. And then I decided that no, I will kill this part of my ego and I'm not going to be an engineer anymore, because I love art, I love creativity, and I changed my career. But you can imagine just changing your career or your job can be so difficult because it's sometimes so attached to your ego. So imagine if you have to change everything around you. That's the most difficult. So that's why I admire Mosab Hassan Yousef, because he's just someone who's like living life, like it's the starting point. You can never imagine that will lead him to the journey that he has been on, right? He must be someone really out of the box. So yes, you can see him from the first level of consciousness, a spy, someone who betrayed his father, his cause, that's the first level. And then you can move to the second level of consciousness and ask why he did what he did, right? Then you can move to the third level of consciousness and see in this story the craziness that is going on and how someone is fighting his ego, right? I think it's away from this, put aside this Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Just look at him and the way he is going on his journey to understand life. I made this same video in Arabic on my Arabic channel, and I hope that it will not have or it will not get me more unsubscriptions. If you want to support my creations and my unique view, you have all possibilities of support in the description box. And tell me about you. After watching this video, do you see Mosab Hassan Yousef in a different light? Let me know in the comments.